Hey guys, it's Mermaid Emily, and today I'm going to be comparing my mini fabric tails with my silicone tail. Now, both tails have their flaws, but they also both have their strengths. Hello, kitty. So let's start by showing you my tails. Now, I have gotten rid of quite a few because they just were not in great shape. They were not wearable anymore. So I found other things to do with them, like turning them into miniature mermaid tails, which you will see if you've checked out my mermaid web series that I make with Barbie dolls called Tails. I have a playlist. So anyway, back to the video. This is the Arctic Blue tail from finfun.com. This is where I get the majority of my fabric tails. I don't have any of my magic tail mermaid tails anymore. I had 2 of them, but those were just, they looked good, but they ripped way too easily. So they were just like falling apart, so I had to get rid of them. I got those when I was 9, and once I found FinFun, I think I was about 11 or 12, and so this was actually the first one I got. Well, it was this style, but not this exact one. The other one was smaller, but I grew out of that one. So I had to get a new one. And this one has these fin protectors like all of their tails do now. But as you can see here, this is where they rip the most often, but they don't rip as much as the magic tail mermaid tails. They're stretchy and they're really good quality. They're really lightweight, and they dry pretty fast, which is something that my silicone tail lacks. They're actually relatively cheap. If you go on their website, more often than not, they're having a sale. And you can choose between any number of tail skins, and you can choose if you want to get a monofin or not, because the monofin comes out. So this is the Rio Red one, and this is what happens when you don't put fin tip protectors on it. Yeah, those rip pretty easily too if you don't put the fin protectors on them. Then I have this one. I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's called the Aquamarine Tail, since it kind of looks like the tail from the movie Aquamarine. But it is one of my favorites because it is so pretty. But yeah, it's got a few holes. And that's just because I use these tails a lot. Like when my friends come over, they can't wear my silicone tail, so they use the fabric ones. This is my most recent fabric tail. I got it while my silicone tail was being repaired. So thanks, Eric, for repairing my tail and not charging me for it. So this one is pretty much like all the others. The monofin comes out and it looks like this. It's pretty much just a piece of plastic inside of thin neoprene. These are what the monofins look like, and inside there's this part, and that's just tough plastic. So this is the older model. I think they've updated their monofin since the last time I bought a tail. But anyway, yeah, the last of my fabric tails is this one by the Mermaid Tailor, and it is a baby tail. It's mermaid tail for babies. I think it's adorable. Yeah, they come just like the fabric tails. They come in a bunch of different colors, but the baby ones are not meant for swimming. You can get duppy tails, which are for kids. Those are for swimming, but the baby ones are obviously not for swimming because this is just foam. So it makes swimming with it very hard. I actually have a video where I put my reborn in it and we both swim in our Mermaid Tailor mermaid tails. And that video was kind of hard to make because the fluke on this tail kept trying to pull her to the top, to the surface, every time I tried to dive with her. And believe it or not, this tail was more expensive than one of these. The baby tail is used for photography only. Well, it's supposed to be. But when you have a reborn, you don't have to worry about the baby drowning. So you can use it for swimming. Now, for this tail, it was around $1,200. So it is very expensive and it weighs about 30 pounds. And so it is very heavy. And it takes a really long time to get on. It's really hard to get on. I break out in a sweat every time I try to put it on. It's silicone, and unlike the fabric tails, you can't take the monofin out of this one because it's attached permanently. And there's neoprene on the inside to keep me warm when I'm swimming in cold water. What I found helps to get into the tail faster is coconut oil. I lube up my legs with coconut oil. And then I have my dad help me get into it. Or the strongest person that's currently around that can help me. Honestly, I love this tail. It is more realistic because it's floppy and it's neutrally buoyant in the water. So despite what you might think, I don't sink to the bottom when I get in the water with it. It's neutrally buoyant, so it doesn't make me sink. In fact, I can go really fast in this thing. And it's custom made to my exact measurements. I also got this top to match it, but Eric did not make it. I found someone on Etsy who made this, although I think she's closed her store by now. I had to have it repaired once, and this one is getting pretty tight on me. I think my chest might have gotten a bit bigger since I ordered it because it's pretty tight. So I might need to look for a new one sometime soon, you know, before the next swimming season. But until then, my H2O aesthetic will have to live with being really tight and having a lot of cleavage. So if you're young and you're just starting out, I would definitely go with the Fit and Fun tails, or any other website that sells fabric mermaid tails is good too. I recommend Fit and Fun because their tails are cheap and they've got a huge selection of tails. This video is not sponsored, by the way. They're always releasing new limited edition tail skins, and so I always keep an eye out for ones that I like. And anyway, that's all my tails. It's actually pretty comical when I go swimming in this one because I have to pour it out. It holds all the water and I have to end up pouring it out. It gets a lot heavier when it's wet because of all the extra weight of the water. And so the weight of it is a downside, but way more durable than these fabric tails. And it's also way more realistic because it's floppy. And it doesn't feel like fabric. It actually kind of feels like a fish. Actually, I think it feels more like a dolphin. But anyway, yeah. I like my expensive tail better. But if I'm just swimming around in a pool and it's just a short swim, I will use one of my fabric tails. And when I do parties, because I occasionally will dress up as a mermaid and do kids' parties, let me know in the comments if you live in the Gainesville area and are looking to hire a mermaid. It's one thing that it's a fun job. And when I say I'm a mermaid, I'm not crazy. I'm actually a mermaid. And so while I'm in training to be a midwife and in college, I do babysitting and I do mermaiding. I also do the mermaiding for my YouTube and social media, but I'm not really on a lot of social media. I'm really just on Instagram. So that's today's video. I will see you guys again. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right? Because it really does help me out.